Hey everyone, ready for something kind of different? Today we're doing a deep dive into how to design your life using reverse goal setting.
Interesting concept.
It really is. I first heard about it from this video by Clark Kegley, and
hmm
it really flipped the script on how I approach goal setting.
So instead of looking at where you are now and figuring out goals for the future,
Yeah, exactly.
you start with your dream life
Yeah,
and then you kind of work backwards.
that's it. And the best part, it really helps you break free from limitations.
The limitations we all put on ourselves.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Those self-imposed boundaries. It's like
Maybe-
reverse goal setting gives you permission to dream big again.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of it.
It reminds me of when we were kids,
Oh, yeah.
like when anything felt possible,
You just had that boundless, sense of possibility.
Exactly. Like I remember wanting to be an astronaut when I was little,
Totally.
and I didn't even consider, all the like training and the logistics of it all.
We didn't worry about how you just knew you wanted it.
Yep. Exactly. It was pure possibility, pure dreaming.
And that's the kind of energy we want to tap into with this first step.
So what's the first step then?
Reimagine. It's about thinking big, letting go of doubts, and really asking yourself,
Asking yourself what?
what's the most amazing life I can even imagine for myself?
Love that. I know Clark Kegley himself is a great example of this.
Oh, absolutely. He was living in his mom's basement.
No way.
Yeah, struggling financially and everything.
Raw.
But he still set these huge goals.
Like what?
He wanted to become a rock star, build this massive YouTube following, have a thriving business, all of it.
That's incredible. And he actually achieves a lot of that, right?
He did. He achieved a lot of it. And it really shows the power of first just imagining without limits.
It's like he willed those dreams into existence.
That's the power of Reimagine. It's all about embracing that question. Why not me?
Why not me? I love that. But what if someone's listening and they're like, I don't even know what my dream life looks like.
Yeah.
Like, where do you even start with that?
That's where the second step comes in.
Okay.
And it might sound kind of counterintuitive, but it's called reject.
Reject.
Yeah. And it's about defining what you don't want.
So it's like figuring out my nightmare scenario.
Kinda, yeah. But it's not about focusing on the negative.
Okay.
It's more about gaining clarity.
I see.
You told me that story about your friend, right?
Yeah.
The one who met that guy who had worked at the same company for 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
And all he could talk about was missing college.
Right.
I mean, that was a wake-up call for him.
It was. He realized if he's not careful, that could be him in 40 years.
Exactly. Wishing he had done things differently.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder.
And that's what's so interesting about avoid goals, as they're called.
Avoid goals.
Yeah, they can be just as motivating as the things we want to achieve.
So it's like saying, I don't want to be stuck in a job I hate.
Right. Or, I don't want to wake up one day full of regret.
I didn't follow my passion, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And that's how you start to figure out what really matters to you.
Okay, makes sense.
It forces you to dig deep and ask those tough questions.
Like what kind of question?
Like, what keeps me up at night? What am I most afraid of?
Those are definitely tough questions.
But they can be super powerful.
I bet. Because honestly, sometimes those fears, they can be real motivators.
Oh, absolutely. And once you identify them,
Yeah.
you can actually start shaping your goals around your deepest values and desires.
Okay, so we've imagined our dream life and figured out what we definitely don't want.
Right.
What's the next step? How do we actually make all this happen?
All right. So this is where the third step comes in.
Yeah, I'm listening.
It's called reframe.
Reframe.
Yep. This is where we bridge that gap between where we are now and that amazing dream life we envisioned.
Ooh, I like that. So how do we reframe our thinking?
It's about breaking things down into manageable steps. Clark Kegley talks about this concept called chunking. Think of it like climbing a mountain.
Right.
You don't just magically appear at the summit.
Nope, you got to take it one step at a time.
Exactly. You focus on reaching that next base camp one step at a time.
That's a great analogy.
It makes those big goals way less daunting.
Way less. I remember Kegley talking about his YouTube subscriber goal.
Oh, yeah?
He wanted to hit 10,000 subscribers, which is huge EE.
Right.
But he didn't obsess over that final number.
Instead, he broke it down.
He broke it down into smaller milestones, like hitting 100 subscribers, then 200.
Smart. And that's a key part of reframing, celebrating those milestones as you go.
Totally. Celebrate those wins, no matter how small.
It's like those small victories fuel your motivation and remind you you're on the right track.
It's like building momentum.
Exactly. Each small win helps you keep going and going.
This is making so much sense. But what about when you hit a wall, those moments where you feel stuck? you know.
Right, those moments happen.
What do you do then?
Well, that's where the idea of keystone goals comes in.
Keystone goals. What are
Yeah.
those?
So these are the goals that if you achieve them,
Yeah.
they have this ripple effect, they kind of make other goals easier.
Ooh, interesting.
Imagine it's like finding that one domino that sets off a whole chain reaction.
That one domino that tips everything over.
Precisely. For example,
Yeah.
let's say your keystone goal is to improve your time management.
Yeah.
That could then positively impact your productivity at work, your ability to pursue hobbies, even your overall well-being.
Wow, it's like a domino effect.
Exactly. It's about focusing your energy on the area that will have the biggest impact.
So it's about identifying the goals that have the most leverage, right?
You got it. But let's be real for a sec. Even with the best planning, there's going to be friction.
Friction.
Yeah, obstacles, setbacks, those unexpected challenges.
Those always pop up.
So one strategy for dealing with that is to really focus on one major goal at a time.
Okay, just one.
Kegley compares it to a Wi-Fi router that's overloaded with devices.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Right. If you try to do too much at once, your energy gets scattered.
Like that overloaded router, everything slows down.
Exactly. So choose your battles wisely and give your full attention to what matters most at that moment.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And this applies to developing habits that support your goals, too.
Habits.
Yeah. The key here is simplicity.
Keep it simple.
Don't overcomplicate things with tons of elaborate systems or routines.
Gotcha. Keep it streamlined.
Right. Now, here's a powerful question to ask yourself when you're trying to build a new habit.
Okay, hit me with it.
Ask yourself, why wouldn't this work?
Interesting. Why wouldn't it work?
Yeah, it helps you identify potential obstacles and tackle them head on.
It's like turning your inner critic into a problem solver.
Exactly. By anticipating those challenges, you can create a plan to overcome them before they derail you.
I love that. So to recap, we've talked about the first 3 steps.
Let's hear it.
Reimagine, reject, and reframe.
The 3 R's.
We've talked about dreaming big, figuring out what we don't want, and then breaking those goals down into manageable steps.
Sounds like a good plan.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up this part of our deep dive?
Just remember this. It's a process, not a one-time thing.
Right.
Your goals are going to evolve as you evolve.
That's a good point.
What seems important today might change as you grow and experience new things.
That makes a lot of sense.
So be flexible, be adaptable, and stay connected to what truly matters to you.
I love that. Before we move on, though, I have one more question for you.
Shoot.
We talked about keystone goals earlier.
Yeah.
How do our listeners actually figure out what their keystone goal is?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll explore in more detail in the next part of our deep dive. Okay, so before we went to the break,
Right. That cliffhanger.
we were talking about those keystone goals.
The ones that can have a ripple effect.
Yeah, making other goals easier to achieve.
How do people actually figure out what theirs is?
Well, it starts with looking inward a bit. Think about the areas in your life where you feel stuck.
Stuck or dissatisfied?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's that one thing?
If you could change it.
It would have a positive impact on everything else.
So it's like finding the root cause.
Yeah, the root cause of those repeating frustrations, those challenges.
Ooh, I like that. Get to the source.
Right. For example, let's say you're always feeling overwhelmed and stressed.
Okay, I think a lot of people relate to that.
Right. So you might immediately want to set goals around being more organized or productive.
Okay, classic goals.
But what if the real issue is that you haven't set clear boundaries between work and personal life?
That's a good point. Boundaries are huge.
Huge. So a keystone goal could be about establishing those boundaries,
Okay.
which could then lead to improvements in organization, productivity, and even less stress.
Wow, it all connects.
It does. It's about tackling that underlying issue instead of just dealing with the symptoms.
I like that. Treating the cause, not the symptoms.
Exactly. So let's say you found your keystone goal.
Okay, I've got it.
What are some practical ways to actually make it happen?
Yeah, how do we achieve it?
Well, remember chunking, that idea of breaking things down into smaller steps.
Right, we talked about that.
That's essential here. Break that big, audacious goal down into manageable pieces.
Bite-sized chunks.
And don't forget to celebrate those wins as you go.
Gotta celebrate.
It makes a huge difference.
It really does. It boosts your motivation, keeps you going.
Absolutely. Another helpful tip is to focus on building habits.
Habits that support your keystone goal. Right.
Exactly. Think about it. If your goal is to be more fit,
Okay, fitness is a big one.
it's not just about hitting the gym once a week.
Got to do more than that.
Right. It's about packing healthy lunches, taking the stairs, finding ways to move more throughout the day.
Making it a lifestyle.
Exactly. It's about making those actions part of your daily routine.
Until they become second nature.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
Remember, reimagine that idea of tapping into possibility.
Yeah, I remember that.
That mindset is crucial for building habits, too.
How so? How does that relate to habits?
It's about shifting your perspective
Okay.
from, I have to do this,
So you
I get to do this.
Ooh, that's a good shift.
Right. So instead of seeing exercise as a chore,
Yeah?
reframe it. See it as an opportunity to invest in your health and well-being.
I like that. A chance to take care of yourself.
Right. And that positive reinforcement can make you more likely to stick with it.
I can see that.
Think about it. If you dread going to the gym,
Yeah, I've been there.
you're probably not going to make it a consistent habit.
Makes sense.
But if you find a way to enjoy the experience, like listening to music or working out with a friend,
I know what works for you.
then you're more likely to stay motivated.
It's about making it fun, making it rewarding.
Exactly. Another key aspect is consistency over intensity.
Okay, tell me more about that.
It's better to do something small and sustainable every day
Okay.
than to go all out and burn out quickly.
The tortoise and the hare, right? Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. Exactly. And with reverse goal setting, consistency is key.
Keep at it, one step at a time.
It's about making those small steps towards your dream life, day after day, until you get there.
That's empowering. Even the biggest dreams can be achieved if we break them down and stay consistent.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about being perfect.
Yeah.
It's about progress.
Progress over perfection.
There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, but keep learning, keep adapting, keep moving forward.
Love that. Embrace the journey, not just the destination.
Right. But let's bring it back to the practical side.
Okay, sounds good.
We've talked about a lot of concepts today.
We have reverse goal setting, keystone goals, habits.
How can people put all this together into a solid plan?
Yeah. How do we make it work?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll dive into in the final part of our deep dive. So we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have. Reverse goal setting, those avoid goals, breaking things down. So much good stuff.
It's like we've got all these puzzle pieces.
Right.
Now we got to put them together.
Create the full picture.
Yeah.
I know people are probably eager to start using all this.
Absolutely.
So where do we start? What's the first step to put it all together?
I think it's helpful to go back to the basics,
Okay.
revisit those 3 core steps.
Reimagine, reject, reframe.
Exactly. Start with that dream life.
Okay, dream life.
What does it look like? What are you doing? Who's around you? Don't hold back. Let your imagination run wild.
Yeah, no limits at this stage.
And it's not just about stuff, you know?
Not just material things.
Right. It's deeper than that.
It's about how you want to feel.
Exactly. What brings you joy? What makes you feel fulfilled?
Align those goals with your values.
That's it. And once you have that vision,
That clear picture.
it's time for reject.
Okay, back to reject.
What are the things you absolutely don't want in your life?
The deal breakers.
Yeah. Toxic relationships, unfulfilling jobs, negative self-talk, all of it.
It's about drawing those boundaries,
Saying no to what holds you back.
protecting your energy. So we've reimagined, we've rejected. Now what?
Now we got to bridge that gap.
Make it a reality.
This is where reframe comes in.
Right, reframe, bring it on.
Remember chunking?
Breaking it down.
Break those big goals down into those smaller steps. Create a roadmap, set milestones, deadlines, the whole shebang.
So it's like a series of stepping stones leading to the destination.
Exactly. And celebrate those wins, no matter how small they seem.
Those little wins keep you going.
They're fuel for the journey. And that brings us back to those keystone goals.
Right, keystone goals.
Identifying yours can be super powerful
Because it helps you focus your energy.
on what will have the biggest impact, exactly. Once you've got it,
Yeah.
you can start breaking IT down, integrating those habits that support it.
And those habits don't have to be massive, right?
No, small, consistent actions.
Something you can actually stick with.
Exactly. And remember what we said about reimagine.
Tapping into possibility.
Bring that mindset to habit building, too. Make it enjoyable. Find ways to make it meaningful.
So it's like finding that sweet spot between discipline and inspiration.
You got it. And remember, it's a journey, not a race.
Be kind to yourself along the way.
Be patient, celebrate progress, and don't be afraid to adjust course if you need to.
Because life throws curveballs.
It does. And your goals might change, too.
That's okay. It's all part of the process.
The key is to stay flexible, adaptable, and never stop dreaming.
Such a great message. I hope everyone listening is feeling fired up and ready to design their dream lives.
I hope so, too.
Before we go, I want to remind everyone to check out Clark Kegley's work.
Yeah, he's got some great resources.
Especially his journaling prompts, they can be super helpful.
Journaling can be a powerful tool for reflection and setting those goals.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening, dream big, break those goals down, and start taking action.
You got this.
You have the power to create a life you truly love. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep reaching for those stars.